Yo, what is good, guys? Ryan Hodge with FantasyLabs.com here, and it is time to do our first look. It is the Week 10 NFL DFS slate. Week 9 is in the books. We are moving on. We are headed into Week 10. As usual, we'll take a look at the Fantasy Labs player models, player ratings, projections at each position here on a Tuesday, and go position by position here in DraftKings and just take a look, get a good little gut check. So we'll start with quarterback. And I don't know why DraftKings continues to do this, but Kyler Murray being all the way up here just seems extremely strange to me. I don't know why Brady's not up here. I don't know why Jalen's not up here. Like, this stuff just does not make sense to me. So let's see if my game log surfing adds up too. 11, 22, 25, 13, 22, 22, 38, 34. He has not had a ceiling game since week 2. He has not had more than 25 DraftKings points, or I guess technically more than 26 DraftKings points since week 6. And he's just really not getting it done. He's dealing with an injury. It's just strange to me to see him up there, especially against a defense who's like just so slow and really doesn't give it up to anyone. So it's kind of strange for him to be up there. Like, Josh Allen should be up there against the Jets, even coming off a poor performance. Tom Brady should be up there against Washington. I mean, if we just game log surf here on Brady, 31, 24, 18, 40, 11, 31, 30, 32. I mean, these ceiling games are just insane. Floor is fine. He's had an 11-point floor there. So for all you cash game players, it's like, I get it. Maybe you're paying for this Kyler floor, but like, I'm out. Pay for the Jalen floor. I don't know. Strange to me to continue to see him price up there. So Allen's fine. I will say, like, his ADOT has been way down, way down the last 2 or 3 games. So that's a little bit of concern. But the Jets, you can definitely throw on. So interesting there. I think this is probably the best price quarterback. Him or Jalen. Jalen's actually might be the best price quarterback, at least what I can see so far. I still got to scroll down. So Jalen looks really nice at $6,500. Kind of a tough matchup against Denver, though. So I probably won't be on that. I think Brady's just against Washington. Like, this guy's, their Tampa Bay is just passing at an extremely high rate. They're throwing at the 5-yard line, 1 yard line, 5-yard line, whatever, at an extremely high rate. Throwing in the red zone at an extremely high rate. So, like, Brady just makes all the sense in the world. Great stacking options. Very easy to just pair with McLaurin and 2 of his pass catchers if you want to onslaught. Even Fournette is getting receiving work. I mean, probably averaging like 4.5 targets or something like that over the season. It might even be more than that. So Fournette's getting in there in the receiving work too. I'll check that 4.5 targets. That might be a little high, but I feel like that's what it is. So we'll take a look. Herbert against Minnesota, I definitely don't hate. Minnesota playing a little bit slow, but when they're trailing, they're definitely more league average in pace of play. So okay in regards to like initial pace take there. Chargers playing at a pretty quick pace. Top 5 in the league in situation neutral, I think. Dallas against Atlanta. I think Dallas saved a lot of garbage time here, right? Yeah, he ended up at just shy of 20 points. He was not looking too hot there in that last quarter. So, those first 3 quarters, and definitely got there in the last quarter of that game. Russ on the IR, Tannehill, Cousins. All right, let's take a look at the model and just kind of see what it has to say about some of these higher price guys. Already got it filtered by rating. Yep, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Look at that. So 3 guys who I was kind of talking about. I think Allen is probably, like I said, fine. His ADOT has just been down. Still, Diggs seems to be pretty cheap relative to what we know what his ceiling can be, and Sanders is still getting work and usually pretty cheap too. So I'm okay with some stacking options there. You don't have to bring it back with anyone on the Jets with these Josh Allen teams. I'm totally okay with it. Tannehill against the Saints, pretty tough matchup. Let's see. Opponent plus minus keeps me honest there. No? Okay, maybe they've been giving it up to quarterbacks. I don't know. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. Josh Allen against it. See, and I thought the Jets were giving it up too. This is why we check. So I'll have to dig into that a little bit more. The Brady Washington stuff, though, spot on. Opponent plus minus of plus 3.5. That might be the highest one on the slate. It is. I think Brady's probably going to be chalk. Probably chalk I'm okay eating in that stack, and you just get unique at a different, maybe get unique at tight end, get unique at your third wide receiver, and unique at your second running back. And all of a sudden you have a team that, is great for small field tournament stuff. So if it's large field tournament stuff, probably have to be a little bit more unique, but even that is okay in some of those 1,000, 1,500 person contests. Once you get into the Millie Maker and stuff, throw a dart, fam. Okay, who else? Do I have this? Yep, 11 game slate. Kirk, Jalen down here. It's that matchup that I was talking about against Denver. Pretty tough. Negative 4.3. Opponent plus minus. We kind of saw that with Dak in most of that game last week too. So even some recent there. Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Okay, so who's cheap popping? Teddy. Wentz. Yeah, Wentz. Okay, Wentz at 5,900. I think he's had a decent amount of pass attempts. Okay, I lied. He's had one game of 51 against Tennessee in that overtime game. 80 snaps played in that game, but if we look kind of more at this mean, yeah. Yards per attempt. What's cool that we just added into FantasyLabs 2 is our attempted air yards and intended air yards, our completed air yards and attempted air yards for quarterbacks. We also have air yards for wide receivers here. So let's take a look. Dak. Yeah, look at Brady and Allen, man, just up there. I feel like Wentz was maybe up there. Yeah, so not bad. Okay, so maybe that's why I was initially a little bit more excited. That's got to be like kind of median. Yeah, not too bad on the slate. Let's take a look at the month. If we scroll all the way over here, we've got his month air yards as well. Yeah, there it is. Look at these most recent 4 weeks. 391. Dak Prescott, 511. Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, 355. Wow, that's crazy. His ADOT has been down the last 2 games, but his intended air yards. So I wonder if that's inflated by completed air yards. Look at Wentz's intended air yards versus his completed air yards. That's brutal. Completed air yards. I don't know why that is red. That's wrong. 165. Tom Brady up there too. I think Tom Brady is just such a sound play at this pricing. Even though there's no legs, it doesn't matter when he's throwing four freaking touchdowns, 340 yards a game. So anyways, new air yards built right into our model here. We'll take a look at that with the receivers as well. Absolutely love to see it. Us updating these models. Great. We have more stuff coming too, which I'm excited about as well, but I won't tease a ton of it now. All right, back to projections, back to rating, and back to DraftKings. So yeah, I think if we scroll down, I don't know, man, I'm not overly interested in a lot of this stuff off at first glance. I'm not doing the Simeon or Taysom Hill against Tennessee. It's a pretty good matchup. Maybe Taysom in cash, but I don't know. For all you cash game players out there, pretty safe floor with his rushing ability there at 5,200, but good matchup too. So maybe worth consideration, kind of just monitoring what the practice situation looks like for those two guys. At quarterback, I'm probably a little bit more inclined with Taysom than I am Simeon, just from a rushing equity standpoint. Big Ben against Detroit. I think I'd prefer Najee Harris in that matchup if we're paying up at running back. So yeah, to me, this kind of just looks like a pretty good Tom Brady week. I mean, when is it not a good Tom Brady week, though? That's the thing. So I'll probably be on Tom. I prefer Tom at lower ownership. He'll probably be a lot higher this week just with how this slate is shaking out. And then Herbert and maybe Dak kind of look good here. And then I think in the slightly bit of a cheaper option is maybe Wentz at 5,900. So yeah, let's jump over to running back for a quick first look. Wow, Najee Harris is not the most expensive running back. Christian McCaffrey is. Solid, an okay. He's definitely eased back in, but saw an okay workload in that first game. Like a 70% snap rate, a couple targets, and 15 attempts. Yeah, 14, 4. I mean, this is insane that this is him being eased back in, because when we see 14 attempts and 5 targets, we're like, wow, almost 20 opportunities for a running back. I'm eating that up. I mean, he is expensive, $8,400, but it's just a reminder that is CMC being eased back in there. So offense might end up just funneling back through him again with TJ Moore and Robbie Anderson not producing because Sam Darnold is seeing ghost. So could just be CMC check down and handoffs. I don't know. $8,400 on DraftKings.com seems a little low in all honesty, especially if we get him closer to that 90% snap rate that we expect. Kamara against Tennessee, $8,200. Give me Najee Harris against Detroit for $300 cheaper. And give me Jonathan Taylor against Jacksonville for a little bit cheaper too. Not that it's a bad matchup or anything like that, but Mark Ingram is absolutely a real thing here with Kamara. We're not worrying about that with Najee Harris and the running back situation in Pittsburgh in any way, shape, or form. I'm not too concerned about Benny Snell taking high-value touches. And Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines does definitely take some high-value touches there, but that matchup is pretty good, and Taylor has just been a freak, so I'm okay with that. You can run on the Chargers at Dalvin Cook. Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of really good options here, kind of in this price point. I think CMC's fine and Kamara are fine, but give me right out of the gate, first gut check, give me Najee Harris versus all of these guys. All of them at this price point. That is way too cheap. I honestly think CMC, from a name recognition standpoint and from what we can expect his usage to be in his second week returning, should probably be closer to 9K rather than 9,600 or 10K like we can see him get up there. So I think he should probably be closer to 9K, and I think Najee should surpass all of these guys based on matchup usage and probably implied team total at home, maybe 25 points or higher. Look at that, 26.5 down here. Steelers, 26.5. Good implied team total on the week. So Najee Harris, too cheap. Najee Harris, chalk week incoming for sure. And that's okay. That's a running back position that I'm totally fine eating 50% ownership in the juke. I'll just do it and play the best play there, which I think is probably going to be Najee Harris. See what the model says about the running backs. Hey, look at that. Najee Harris, $7,900. Too cheap, way too good of a matchup. Great ceiling, great floor. I'm just probably all in on the Harris bandwagon here. Just me and all my friends holding hands up the leaderboards as we eat this chalk. I'm on. I'm in. Let's do it. Devin Singletary, no thank you. Not doing it. Popping in the model. Definitely got to be some sort of a salary and maybe a matchup thing. Yeah, opponent plus minus 7.3. It's just not getting enough work. That's insane. And Zach Moss down there at 5,100. Same matchup. A.J. Dillon, no thank you. Wow, so Aaron Jones is a really good matchup too against Seattle at plus 5.9. 10 pro trends. Jonathan Taylor, 11 pro trends. Najee Harris, 10 pro 10s. So yeah, look at that. Like I said, even my model is kind of reflecting this too, but here's Kamara all the way down here. Here's Najee Harris. Here's Jonathan Taylor. Here's some of those guys who I was talking about over Kamara and CMC. I think CMC is fine. I just probably won't pay for him, although that always burns me. So we'll see how salaries shake out. Because if you can just do a CMC at a suppressed ownership and you're getting a little bit of an ownership discount on the best running back in the league because of unknown, I think then it's okay. But if CMC gets steamed a little bit, because I can initially just see that I'll probably be playing Tom Brady and Najee Harris here, it'll be hard for me to eat two expensive running backs that both project for a lot of ownership. That's if CMC does. So after I run a lot of the simulations and take a look at industry sentiment, we'll see what the ownership comes in for CMC there. So let's take a look at the points per salary here and just kind of it's Jonathan Taylor. Wow. Swift against Pittsburgh. Oh, that'll be tough. Usually not one to play two running backs, but I would say both of their roles are so unique. Maybe in large field it works out. I'm just not entirely sure you need to do that. Probably too low of a team total here for me to be playing DeAndre Swift anyways. Javonte Williams. Leonard Fournette. Okay, Fournette 60. Tampa Bay onslaught? Just Brady, Fournette, one of his pass catchers, Terry McLaurin, Najee Harris. Like, I don't even know what that's going to shape up to be like in salary, but let's just take a look. Ton of them. Who are actually? Tell you what, we'll wait to get to wide receivers to build that out. We'll use that as a segue. I don't see a ton. Okay, James Conner. If there is no Chase Edmonds, James Conner, $6,300. That is probably a workload only play matchup. I think, just like I said, teams against Carolina are just like Carolina's been brutal for opposing teams' fantasy points production. So, see, Pat against Dallas, pretty unique role. Michael Carter, Buffalo. The New England backfield is definitely worth monitoring. I think both of those guys with Stevenson and Damian Harris having concussions and in the concussion protocol. I believe it is a Tuesday morning, so I don't know for sure. I'll have to check practice reports today. Yeah, salary relief at the running back position looks like it could be a little bit tricky. We had some guys last week like Devontae Booker, a little bit cheap, and Nick Chubb was a little bit cheap. That just kind of helped you navigate the salary pool because they were just, lower than 7K or Booker was near 6K, towards the bottom of the 6K price point. So pretty tough at running back. I'm honestly not seeing anything other than just like, can I play Najee Harris twice? Will DraftKings let me do that? Because I'll just play him twice. But all right, let's move over to wide receiver position. Take a look at some of these top salary guys. Okay, there's Mike Evans, 6,900. Godwin, 7,100. And okay, AJ Brown, Antonio Brown. This is what I wanted to see. If he comes back, $6,100. When he is on the field running routes, he is being targeted at a very high rate, more than Godwin and more than Evans when he's on the field. So when he is running routes, he has a higher weighted targets per route run than both of those guys. It's not by very much, but it is more. So I think that is worth looking into at $6,100. But if he's back, his price point is so cheap, he's probably chalk. And so now you're just like playing all the chalk. So it's like, do you just play Mike Evans or Chris Godwin to take a 10% ownership discount? And they're both great plays. It's not like you're sacrificing ownership for a bad play. You're just moving off of one good play to another one for projected ownership. So I don't know. Interesting to see how that'll shake out with the industry. Where's Terry McLaurin? Okay, $7,600. So not as cheap as I was hoping. I was definitely hoping closer to this 7K price point for Terry. Not playing Justin Jefferson against the Chargers. I don't mind AJ Brown, but that is a very expensive against the Saints. I think I'm out there. Davante Adams pulling a Robbie Anderson, seeing like 145 targets and only catching 6 of them. Look at that, 14 targets, catching 6 balls. That's probably not on Adams and definitely on Jordan Love. Didn't watch a ton of that game, so I don't know for sure, but I'm going to make an assumption that 14 targets is probably gosh, it's hard. I'm surprised that they gave him like 14 catchable targets, but maybe they were. So I don't know. 14 targets from Aaron Rodgers is not the same thing as 14 targets from Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying? So Rodgers should be back though, which is nice. It's just a COVID stuff for him. Usually that doesn't last more than a week, so he should be good to go. Or like an overlapping week from when he was in the COVID protocol on like Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, misses Sunday, and then can come back the next Sunday. So it's definitely longer than just 7 days. Y'all know what I'm saying. Keenan Allen against Minnesota. This is something where I might want to look into the Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, like man coverage stuff. Like I think that was a reason why people got on like Justin Jefferson. So I don't know. I think that's stuff like check out Lord Reeves, Rich Rebar. He always breaks down those tiny little micro details that sometimes I overlook. So it's always good to get some insight from like a guy who actually understands football in some of those cases, rather than just a guy who looks at the pretty colors in a model and says, well, this says no, this says yes, and this one's more green, and this one's more red, so give me the more green guy. So it's always good to get insights from real football players, or from guys who understand real football, not just the fantasy aspect as well. Shout out Rich Rebar. So yeah, I think if we continue to scroll down here, yeah, there's Mike 66. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm curious because I know. Oh no, it's Baltimore who could get beat up by man, not Minnesota. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. I don't know. I was just thinking about last week's matchup, so I don't know. But $6,600 against Minnesota, that seems like a phenomenal price point. Let's cruise over to the player models, transition to wide receiver, and just see what some of this is saying on player rating. Wow, Keenan up there. Okay. I wonder if maybe you can, I don't know, maybe they play zone or something and he eats under the, or maybe they play man and he eats under the middle and zone. I don't know, dude. What even is real football schemes? Mike Williams, good player rating too. Okay. Love to see that. That's always fun. AJ Brown, expensive. DJ Moore, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Michael Pittman, $6,300. Carson Wentz just loves himself some Michael Pittman, and I love myself some Michael Pittman too. This price tag is starting to creep up, but I think that it is. I think maybe he's priced appropriately, or maybe a little underpriced here, just based on his usage, targets, the amount of air yards that he's getting. So, like, take a look at these air yards. I'm pretty sure they're up there. Like, it's all just, yeah, total air yards. I love this. 33%. DJ Moore, no thank you. AJ Brown, a ton too. Mike Williams. We know he's the air yard king. Let's take this recent 4-week sample on average total air yards on receptions per game for a receiver over the past month. Air yards is distance from the receiver to the line of scrimmage that the ball traveled in the air. And Michael Pittman, yep, look at that, 75.3 over the last 4 weeks. Keep in mind, those have been some, hashtag fuck it, Pittman's down there somewhere type of YOLO throws coming out of Carson Wentz looking for that PI. So take that with a grain of salt, but I do think that his targets are valuable. It's not like he doesn't have opportunities to come down with that, right? He's I don't know, somebody check like playerprofiler.com, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty good at contested catches and coming down with those footballs. So it's not just empty, which is nice. Amari Cooper seeing a ton. That kind of lines up with what we saw from Dak. Cortland Sutton still seeing a ton. So, and this is a percentage of their team's air yards. So kind of like market share of just total air yards, which is something that we want to see if we just filter most on that way. Deontay Johnson getting up there. Oh, he saw 800 price decrease. Oh, maybe it was Showdown. DJ Moore, still seeing a Tyler Lockett. Seeing more, but the Geno Smith stuff, I'm out. Terry McLaurin, we know, these are all names that we expect to see here. Here's that Manny Sanders that I was talking about, but he got a pretty big price bump. He was $5,100 2 weeks ago, $55 last week, and now he's $57. So definitely catching on with some of the underlying stats here with Manny Sanders. So yeah, look, I love using this just to give me an idea. And like I said, we will have some more advanced metrics coming into these models as well. Let's take a look at points per salary. See if there's any good, see if there's some 5K guys out there. Jarvis Landry, tough pill to swallow. I'm out. Tyler Johnson. We better see 2 of the main 3 wide receivers in Tampa Bay be ruled out for me to ever play Tyler Johnson. I just even think with like AB out, it's probably a little thin. Deontay Johnson, even though like Tyler Johnson, his targets are much more valuable because they're coming from Brady, because this team is in the end zone so much. So like I understand, probably just out there at 33, but that is some good sal relief. Freddie Swain, no thank you. KJ Osborne against the Chargers on the perimeter. I'm out. Justin Jefferson. So yeah, we'll just have to monitor practice reports and inactives, honestly, on Sunday to start looking for some of this value. That seems to be the way that it goes. These Tuesday first looks are always just like, I don't know where the value is going to come from. We saw this guy get hurt, but we don't know what he's going to be. And then, come Friday, it's like, oh yeah, it looks like they're ruled out. And then Sunday you get the inactives and you're like, sweet, there's our value. So for all you people asking for projections on a Wednesday, what's the point, man? You guys should just like be looking at your process, studying team totals, looking at some of this contextual data around the air yards and targets per route run, stuff like that, rather than I need a ceiling projection so I can start building now. What's the point, man? Build Saturday night, build Sunday morning when we have the news. That way you don't suffer from take lock. Back to rating here. Some other guys, nope. St. Brown, no thank you. Mike Evans up there. Who's the highest rated? Yeah, Chris Godwin is the highest rated Tampa Bay wide receiver. A little bit more of a median projection there than Mike Evans, but I'll definitely have Mike Evans with probably a slightly higher ceiling come Thursday, Friday after I do all those projections. Terry McLaurin, 21.9 ceiling. These are Sean Corner's default FantasyLab projections. Manny Sanders, a little low, but like I said, his usage is good. Visca's dead to me. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's move over to tight end. Dan Arnold, Conklin, Dalton Schultz, rounding it out there from rating, but from a pure salary standpoint, wow, not a single time. Wow, so we're missing Kelsey, Mark Andrews, and Kittle for sure on this slate. Not a single one over 5 or over 6K. Kyle Pitts definitely getting some targets. Just I know he dropped a big one too. You know that could have definitely put him. Honestly, maybe even close to the bonus. I don't know if it was quite a 40-yard pass, but I think it was like 25, 30 for sure. So 7 targets, though. I don't know. We like the usage out of Kyle Pitts here. Just not sure if it's going to be a slate to pay up at tight end. Hawk against Pitt. Schultz. Goddard against Denver. Ertz. No yak Ertz at $4,600 is just not something that I thought we were going to see on the Arizona Cardinals. Hunter Henry catching a touchdown per game. What a psycho. Pat Freiermuth, $3,900. I think he will probably catch some steam after that Monday Night Football game with a good team total at home. And Big Ben just definitely seems to love him. I mean, I think he had 7 targets. Only caught 4 of them. Oh, I feel like he had more targets than that. Let's go back here. Oh, and look at that. 4th on that. Yeah, he's definitely going to catch some steam. I think we have Monday Night Football in there. 6 targets, 5. Some high-value targets there, too, down near the red zone, which is what we love to see out of these big-body behemoth tight ends. $3,900 definitely seems in play, depending on how the slate shakes out. RSJ, cheap bringback in that Tampa Bay game. If you want to just forego Terry McLaurin, you could go with some Ricky Seals-Jones Jr. there. Conklin, I definitely like Conklin. He saw a target from the 3 or 4 yard line. I think it was inside the 5, which is just great. Love to see that. Right in the middle of the end zone, got called on a DPI, and Kirk ended up running it in, but it was nice to see him get a high-value target there. They even drew up 1, maybe 2 tight end screens for him. Just great usage out of a talented tight end here for $3,400. Albert O in a good matchup against Philly. You can definitely eat underneath against Philly there, and he's at $3,300. Pretty sure he's totally fine. I know he came out of the game just for maybe a series or 2. I don't even know if it was 2 series to get his knee looked at, but I think he came back in, so we should be good there. Those seem to be some of the cheapest guys. Parham's the more talented tight end there, but he's just not running a ton of routes, and he's not getting a ton of looks. If all of a sudden Cook was ruled out because he's old and I don't know, his knee swelled up on him like old man knees do on a Friday practice or like a Saturday morning walkthrough or something, just seems like very old man thing to happen, then Parham's like smash play $2,600, like just enter. But with Cook in there, I'm not into it. So yeah, I think that's probably about as low as I would go. Not doing the Fursker, not doing the Todd Sweeney stuff. Just seems a little thin. I'd probably prefer to just stick around that Albert O, Conklin, and Freiermuth price range, and maybe just go from a $2,800 defense down to a 25 or 24, or just pure punt at 2K21, whatever it is, at the defensive spot. So look, guys, it's about a little less than 30 minutes, so I think I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me know who pops off immediately to you in as like a good play, good matchup, great salary play. Anyone that you think we can use at salary relief, leave in the comments down below. Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. That's what all the YouTubers are saying. So let's do it, right? Let's get on track here in week 10, and I will see you guys on Friday for the quarterback model preview, where we dive much more in depth and just study the quarterback position. I'll go over that with you guys on Friday. All right, till then, peace.